All right, Shalom. Like start up saying call Halayim La Yahweh, by Shem Yahweh Shai, by Shem Harakak Kodash Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostle, the great millstone, double honors to our elder apostle as well, the Herod one by Yasharala down here in Lions and Camp. Salutation to the Akim that are pushing the truth, sincerity, and truth, and peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, I'm Khalak on by Yasharala from the Lions and Yasharala Camp. This is another night in news and prophecy. And here we go. It says, this is Second Ezra chapter 15 verse 1, it says, Speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written on paper, for they are faithful and true. And it says, Russia ready to help Venezuelan military. See that? I've been, you know what I'm saying? I've been going over this the past couple weeks. Um, you know, the previous lesson, the U.S. General Gerald Ford, whatever, has docked somewhere in the Caribbean close to Venezuela. If I'm not mistaken, I did a lesson the prior week talking about how it was stationed to go somewhere else, and Trump pulled it back to send it over there. So it finally arrived there yesterday, right? But this says Russia is ready to help Venezuela. Man, that's Ezekiel 38 at its finest, man. All right, it says Russia is ready to help Venezuela as the U.S. beefs up its military presence near the South American nation. Russia's foreign minister said. Caracas and Moscow signed a strategic partnership in May. The Kremlin is ready to fully act within the framework of the obligations that were mutually stipulated in this agreement with our Venezuelan friends. Sergei Leverov said in comments reported by Russian state media on Tuesday. Russia and Venezuela have long-standing diplomatic, economic, and military ties stretching back to Venezuela's former leader Hugo Chavez. The factory to pump out Koslava munitions opened in Venezuela in July, and a Russian cargo aircraft uh, sanctioned by the United States and known for transporting defense equipment to Venezuela landed in the country late last month. That's when allegedly those missile defense systems had arrived, October 29th. It says it says the U.S. military footprint close to Venezuela has ballooned as the White House forges ahead with a strike campaign it has framed as a lethal crackdown on drug smuggling from Latin America, while international experts and former officials have described the attacks on suspended drug boats as illegal under international law. And we spoke about that in the last. So, you know what I'm saying? So they're not getting any clearances to it looks like they're not getting any clearances from the UN Council to strike these boats that are in international waters claiming that they're drug related. And Trump's just doing whatever he wants to do, you know? It says the overwhelming show of force augmented by the world's largest aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald Ford, arriving in waters close to Venezuela along with three warships on Tuesday, has raised questions about whether U.S. President Donald Trump hopes to topple Venezuela's authoritarian leader, Nicolas Maduro. Caracas has loudly posted the gathering of the United States military forces close to its coastline, at once appealing for peace and insisting Venezuela is ready to respond to any American attack. Mm. It says the argument, the agreement between Caracas and Moscow hasn't yet come into force, but is getting close. Leverov said the leaders of both countries have ratified the strategic partnership. Now it is at the final stage of ratification. So Lavrov said, TASS reports. It states the need to continue our security cooperation, including military, uh, technical cooperation. Venezuela has not requested military assistance or that Russia's weapons would be deployed in the country, Lavrov said, but Senior Russian officials suggested this month that Russia could furnish Venezuela with its experimental Orsnik intermediate range ballistic missiles, which Moscow debuted to the world in a strike on central Ukraine a year ago. Mm. Mm. It says, we supply the country with virtually the entire range of weapons, from small arms to aircrafts, to said Alexei Zirovlev, who sits on the Defense Committee of Russia's State Duma. It says the lower parliamentary house, Lev said the details of which weapons Russia sends to Venezuela was classified, but there were no obstacles to supplying a friendly country with new development like Orusk or Orshnik or Moscow's Caliber cruise missiles that it has extensively used against Ukrainian targets. Mm. So the Americans can be in for some surprises. Ooh, Zarovlev said. It said, it's going to be a big surprise. Matter of fact, because check this out. This is Ezekiel 38:1. It says, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against it. Right. So even though, Yahweh Shema Shai stirring up the spirit of the Medes in Russia, the Lord is still against Russia. All right. It says, and this represents Russia and Moscow. Kremlin. It says, and say, thus saith the Lord, behold, I am against thee, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and bring thee forth and all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them bringing and handling swords. Right. All right. So now that's not only is that Russia being turned back into the old USSR, that's also other nations becoming allied to um 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 to Russia. All right. It says, where am I? It says Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them all all of them with shields and helmets. Gomar and his bands, I think it's like Turkey, or the house of Togomar in the North Court. I think that's like North Turkey, Istanbul, and his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared and prepare thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. Like, and it means like to guard, to post, to watch, guarding. See that? And that's exactly what Venezuela's not named on those lists, but it says all. You know what I'm saying? In a great company, right? So this right here, what we're reading, is literally that to the T. You know. So basically, um, how Russia's coming to Venezuela's defense, the Lord prophesied for this to happen. It's going to be more than Russia, like how they're coming to the aid of uh, Iran, allegedly having alliances with China. All right, it says the alliance between Caracas and Moscow is strong, and hands Russia a friend close to the U.S., said Carlos Solar, a senior research fellow in the Latin American Security with the UK based Royal United States Institute think tank. But Venezuela gets the better end of the deal, Solar told Newsweek. Venezuela has long hosted Russian military advisors and purchased military supplies from Moscow, from the S-300 surface to air missile systems, which struggle to intercept any kind of um, attack the U.S. could launch. All right, it says U.S. strikes on alleged drug boats in the Southern Caribbean and Eastern Pacific um, have killed at least 75 people since the start of September, according to the administration's publicly acknowledged numbers. Strikes have continued in the weeks since the administration confirmed that USS General R. Ford and thousands of additional personnel in tow would head for the region. Venezuela Defense Minister Vladimir uh, Padrino Lopez ordered the mobilization of 200,000 soldiers across the country on Tuesday against the threat posed by the United States. It says the strikes appear to be cutting at U.S. relationships with key allies, according to Colombia, including Colombia. The country's president, Gustavo Petro, ordered Bogota's security and intelligence forces to stop communication sharing with the United States on Tuesday, as long as Washington attacks the boats in the Caribbean. And CNN separately reported on Tuesday that the UK has paused intelligence sharing on suspected drug vessels more than a month ago. See, they're not giving the United States the intel. They're not sharing it. See that? Mm. It says Venezuelan Foreign Minister Yvonne Von Gil Pinto said on Tuesday that Caracas was grateful for Russia's firm solidarity for the defense of our sovereignty. See, coming and being a guard and a protector. It says Maria Zakharova, a spokesperson for the Russian Foreign Ministry, said earlier this month that Moscow stood ready to respond appropriately to requests from Caracas. It says, what happens next? It's not clear how far the United States will go or whether the administration will carry out strikes on Venezuelan soil. And if they do that, I don't think they're going to do that yet because that will set some stuff off if that was to happen. If they were to actually strike on Venezuelan soil, yeah, that would stir up a lot of stuff. So a couple things need to happen for that, but who knows? How about Shimon outside stirring up things real quick? Um, I think Three Eye Atlas has come from behind or from out of the reflection of a blockage of the sun. And I read one article that said they were jets, like other aircraft being deployed from the Three Eyed Atlas. See that? So we close. We at the door of this thing, man. You know that's why we got to keep pushing, and keep our faith in Yahweh Shem Yahweh. All right, Lord willing, this lesson will edify and serve the purpose for the hope to let the ones that truly believe in the name Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. With that, I'd like to say, Call Halayim, La Yahweh, by Shem Yahweh Shai, by Shem Harikak Kwadash, my Amah. Double honors to the elder apostles, the great millstone, double honors to my elder apostle as well. I heard one by Yasharallah, down in the lines and camps. Salutations to the ark that are pushing the truth and sincerity and truth. And peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Shalom.